Hi guys, I'm just going to make a quick little video for y'all on for your progress monitoring assessment, the district test for the spring semester for geometry. Okay, you have 2 reviews that we're going to go through, and I will also go through formulas that you will be needing. Okay, so first of all, let's look at number 1 here. This is number 1 on the first review. Okay, so Irene places a mirror on the ground at 24 feet from the base of a tree. She walks backwards until she sees the top of the tree in the middle of the mirror. Okay, at this point, her eyes are 5.5 feet above the ground, and her feet are 4 feet from the mirror. How tall is the tree? So all you have to do here is this numbers 1 and 2. You're going to be using similarity. So you just need to come up with some proportions. So basically you're gonna say, okay, the height here, 5.5, divided by the distance to the mirror over, so it'd be 5.5 over 4, and then it's gonna be equal to the height of the tree divided by that distance to the mirror, which is 24. So you're just gonna say 5.5 over 4 equals x over 24. You're gonna cross multiply, so you can get your x. The other way you can do this too is if you multiply the 4 by 6, you know, since you're trying to get from 4 to 24, 4 times, or you could have said 24 divided by 4, that way is 6, and then 4 times 6 is 24. If you multiply 5.5 by 6, you will also get 33, which is your answer if you cross multiply. So your answer choice there is C. Okay, on number 2, what is the value of x given that segment PQ is parallel to segment BC. Okay, so you got to look at this from this triangle right here. This is your big triangle, and then you have a mini one up here. So you're going to do this the same way. Remember, you need similar sides. So first of all, you can say the 8 over 12 for the little one, and then that's going to be equal to the big one. Well, the big one, you have the x and you have the 8, so you're going to say x plus 8 divided by what you have on this side, which is 12 plus 18, which is 30. But just to set that up, x plus 8 over 12 plus 18. So on the next step here, I have the x plus 8 over 30 equals the 8 over 12. And you can cross multiply here. You can do this the same way that we did up here. You could have said, 30 divided by 12 or whatever. So you could just multiply that by something. But it's just easier if you just cross multiply here. You cross multiply, you're just going to have 12 times x plus 8 equals 30 times 8, which is 240. If you really want to, you can distribute the 12, get 12x plus 96 equals 240, subtract 96 on both sides. If you want another way to do this, you could have just divided both sides by 12. Set that divided by 12, which should have just given you x plus 8 equals 240 divided by 12, which should have been 20. In that case, I'm not writing that down. If you did that, 20, and if you subtract 8, you'll get 12. But if you just cross multiply, you're going to get 12 anyway. Doing that, subtracting 96, you get 144. Divide that by 12, you will get 12 again. Okay, number 3 is going to be a little different because even though you are using a proportion, you're not doing it in the same way. You're going to have to use geometric mean. So remember when we did geometric mean a couple of months ago? For this, you're basically, you have to go by this formula. You're basically saying base divided by height equals height divided by the other base. So you can set it up like that. Base divided by height equals height divided by the other base. But guys, it's so much easier if you just multiply these together and you just square that height. So you could have just said x squared equals 63. I did this like the proportion, but you could have just said 7 times 9 is 63 and then square the x. X squared equals 63. And then of course we're looking for x here, so get the square root of both sides. Square root of x squared is just x. Square root of 63. If you have a calculator, you can just get this and try to find which one of these is going to be that same measurement. But if you simplify the square root, you can do that too. That's like saying the square root of 9 times the square root of 7. Square root of 9 is 3, so 3 squared is 7, which is answer choice C. Okay, so let's look at number 4. So on number 4, okay, this is just going to be straight special right triangles. You're given that angle A is 90 degrees Okay, that's a right angle. That's 90 degrees. Angle B is 45. They do not have to give you the third angle. You should be able to find that out. You know, because you have 45 and 90, that one has to be 45. Okay, so this is a 45, 45, 90 right triangle and a 45, 45 right triangle. The two legs are the same, and your hypotenuse is this legs times the square root of 2. So this is just going to end up being 10 square root of 2. So this is, right here is just x and x. This is 10, so this is also 10, so that has to be 10 times the square root of 2. Okay, now 5 and 6 you're going to have to use trigonometry. So the first thing you do, from your angle, label your triangle. So from the 38, the one right in front of it is your side opposite. The other one would be your side adjacent, but I don't need that here, so I didn't write it. Your hypotenuse is always going to be directly across from your right angle. So there's my opposite, there's my hypotenuse. I have opposite and hypotenuse, so I'm just going to use sine. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, O over h. So I'm going to say 20 over x. And then from there, I'm just going to cross multiply. Sine of 38 is a number. This is just a number. And if you don't believe me, put it into a calculator. So all I have to do now is cross multiply. X times this number, I'm just going to say x sine 38 is equal to 1 times 20. And then just like if you had something like, I don't know, like 12 times x or something, you would just divide by that 12. I just thought of 12. But you don't want this number that's in front of, or being multiplied to the x, so just divide by that on both sides. You're going to get 20 over sine 38. Put that into a calculator, you're going to get 32.48 and change. This is going to round to 32.5. It would be incorrect to say 33. Just look at that second decimal. If this is 5 or more, it makes the first one jump up, which this one does. That's an 8, so that makes that 4 become a 5. Okay, that's just rounding. Okay, number 6, you're doing the same thing. Label your triangle. The one right in front of your angle is your side opposite. The hypotenuse is the one right in front of your right angle. Again, you have opposite and you have hypotenuse, so again, I'm using sine. So I'm going to say opposite over hypotenuse. That's going to be x over 10. So I'm just going to say that the sine of 60 degrees is just going to be x over 10. Let's just cross multiply. Remember, the sine of 60 is just some number. So this is just going to give me 1 times x is x, and then 10 times sine 60 is 10 sine 60. If you just put this into a you're going to get x equals 10 sine 60. You could just put this into a calculator and try to see which one of these is going to be. You could have also said, okay, well, the sine 60 is the square root of 3 over 2, but I don't expect that from you because this you probably don't, you wouldn't learn that until you get to pre-cal. But if you did have that, 10 times this, the 2 would go into the 10 5 times. It's just 5 square root of 3. But like I said, if you just get this and you put this into a calculator, go through your answer choices, it's going to be this one. And you know it wouldn't have been A or C because you would have gotten a decimal. So it would have either been B or D. So just look at it in the calculator and see which one matches what this would be. Okay. Now number 7 and 8 is just going to be straight Pythagorean theorem. You're just going to say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I have my a here, I have my b here, and I have my c. So we're just going to say x squared plus 9 squared equals 15 squared. 9 squared is 81. 15 squared is 225. If I subtract 81 on both sides, 225 minus 81 is 144. Square root of both sides, you're just going to get x equals 12. So this will be answer choice A. Okay. Now, number 8 is going to be a little different. Just in that this is basically used for the picture. Because the picture, the question doesn't quite match. Okay, lightning struck a tree, causing it to break and crash to the ground. The tree broke at 15 feet above the ground. The tip of the tree touches the ground 25 feet from the base. So I know that this is 15, this is 25. The question, though, everything's fine, but then it says, how tall was the tree originally? You're basically just looking for how much this is. Essentially, from this right triangle, you're just looking for the hypotenuse. A better question would have been something like, what is the length of the tree that fell from where the lightning struck? I don't know, something like that. Okay, but anyway, you're gonna have to find this one out. None of these answers are gonna match. So you're just gonna say 15 squared plus 25 squared equals c squared, and I think that was gonna be like 29 point something. I can't remember which one it was. Either way, Just do this one, work this one out, just using Pythagorean theorem. Okay, number 9. Now this one is going to be different. A large totem pole in the state of Washington is 100 feet tall. At a particular time of day, the totem pole casts a 249-foot shadow. Find the measure of angle A to the nearest degree. So I'm going to say, so remember, from your angle here, just like those other ones that we had done, you're going to have to label this triangle. The side right in front of this angle is your side opposite. The one that's next to this is your side adjacent. Okay, the one right across from your right angle is your hypotenuse. I don't have the hypotenuse here, so I'm not even going to mess with that. But I do have opposite and I have adjacent, so I'm going to use tangent. Remember, this is just from SOHCAHTOA, so you're just using the TOA. Tangent of A, not to be confused with it, adjacent being A. It'd have been nicer if they called this something else, but they called it angle A. So anyway, I'm going to say the tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent, which is going to be 100 over 249. And then from there, I just want that angle. That's the whole question. What is the angle? So to get rid of tangent, all I have to do is take the inverse tangent of both sides. I'm going to say inverse tangent of A equals inverse tangent of 100 over 249. The inverse tangent cancels tangent. That's just A equals, and then inverse tangent of 100 over 249. Put that into a calculator. You're going to get 22. I do believe it's like 21 point something. But that's going to round to 22. Okay. Now, number 10. The vertices of quadrilateral ABC, they're giving you the points here. You're going to have to graph this. I just picked this here to graph. This is, when I did this before, I put this graph a little higher. It really doesn't matter where you do it. Just make sure all your points fit. Now, when you're looking at this, this is obviously not a square, okay, because squares have right angles. This is not a trapezoid. You know that because trapezoids, by definition, only have one pair of parallel sides, and this one has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay, so I already know that this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's the same thing down here. Here, I know that these are going to be 5, but that's because I found the distance. I did the distance formula. So from A to B, I just said -1 minus 5, or actually you can do -5 minus -1, which is going to be -4, square that, plus, and then the y is -1 minus 2 is going to be -3 squared. So that's going to be 9. 16 plus 9 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. You don't have to do this necessarily, but this just proves that, hey, all these sides are going to be the same. I know that these two are the same because they have the same, to get from these bottom points to this one over here, you went up 3 and you went to the right 5. The right 4. And then this one, you go up 3, right 4. You have the same thing. These have to be the same. Anyway, if all the sides are the same, it's either a square or a rhombus. It can't be a square because there's no right angles. This one has to be a rhombus. Okay, so this was review 1. Okay, so let's move on to review 2. Okay, so in review 2, what is the arc length of the shaded sector? Here I did this with the highlighter so you can just see what it is I'm looking at. I'm just looking with a measure of this on the outside. Okay, round to the nearest 10. So I'm just looking for arc lengths. I'm just using this nice little formula right here. S equals radius times your angle theta. And this is where your theta, your angle has to be in radians. Okay, well here they gave us the radius, that's 30. They gave us the angle, but they gave it to us in degrees. That's an easy fix. All you got to do is convert this to radians. All we have to do is multiply by pi over 180. And if you were to do this, this is going to come out, reducing this comes out to 2 pi over 3. The 120 and the 180 both have 60s in common. That'll reduce to 2 pi over 3. Anyway, when you put this in here, getting blurry there. You put that in here, 30 times 2 is going to be 60. 60 divided by 3 is 20 times pi. So whatever that is, anyway, you can just put that into a calculator. You're going to get 62.83, blah, 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 0.19, whatever. 62.8319, blah, blah, blah. That goes on forever. Anyway, so it's going to be this answer choice, 62.8. Okay, number 2. And 2 and 4 are going to do the same. Okay, on number 2, find the approximate area of the shaded sector. So here we are doing sector area. So we did this a couple weeks ago. Okay, so you're just using this formula right here. M divided by 360 times the area of a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. So here, my angle that I have here is 120. So I'm just going to say 120 over 360 times pi times 30 squared. This is going to be the area, the entire area of this circle. Remember, because all you're doing here is we're not trying to get all the area, we just want a piece of that area. Okay, just a portion of that. Okay, so anyway, you put this all in 120 over 360 pi times 30 squared. I simplified this a little. 120 goes into 363 times. It's like 1/3 pi. 30 squared is 900. But if you just put this into a calculator, you're going to get 942.478, blah, 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 which is going to be answer choice B. Okay, it's going to round to that. Okay. Okay, number 3. Find the measure of... Okay, this one is going to be different. So find the measure of angle DAR, okay, in the following circle. So this is the way you have to look at it. You have two angles here. You have this one, you have this one. This one right here in the middle, this is, or by the center, this is called your central angle. This one over here is an inscribed angle. And by definition, your inscribed angle is exactly half of your central angle. So you can say that this B is equal to half the A. Okay, well here I don't know what A is, but I do know that B is 34 degrees. So I'm just going to solve this for A. If you multiply both sides by 2, 2 times B is 2B. 2 times a half is just A. So I'm just going to say A equals 2B equals, and you're just going to say 2 times 34 because 34 is that angle B. They gave us that. 2 times 34 is 68. So this is going to be answer choice A, 68 degrees. Number 4, find the area of the shaded sector. So just like number 2, we're just using this formula, M over 360 times the area of a circle. My radius here is 4. This angle that was used is 60, so I'm just saying 60 over 360 times pi times 4 squared. If you put this into a calculator, you're going to get 8.37758, blah, 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 blah. And then you can just go through here and see which one matches that. If you fill in, what you can do is actually find out what this is going to be. This is 60 goes into 360 6 times. That's 1 over 6 pi. 4 squared is 16, so you could just say times pi times 16. This would be 16 pi over 6, which would reduce to 8 pi over 3. So that'd be your exact answer, 8 pi over 3. But like I said, you can just get the decimal and then go through your answer choices and see which one matches as well. Okay, number 5. Which of the following answer choices can figure M and OP with vertices M and O and P be categorized as? So when you do this in here, you can find the distance formula to find, to make sure like all of these are going to be the same. And visually, you can also see that's a square. And if it's a square, that has to be also a rectangle. And you can see from here, this is a parallelogram because this has 2 pairs of parallel sides. And this is also a rhombus because these all have the same angle measure. These all have the same like actual measurement right here. You know that because you went up 4, you went over 3. Here you went over 4, and then you went down 3. Here go down 4, over 3, go over 4, up 3. It's all going to be the same. Okay, so this would be all of the above. Okay, and last page. Okay, last page. So number 6. Mark studies the parallelogram and finds the slopes of the diagonals to have the slopes of 5/3 and -5 over 3. What conjecture can you make? So first of all, this is a parallelogram, which is a quadrilateral, and if these slopes are opposite reciprocals, you'll learn this in Algebra 1. If these slopes are opposite reciprocals, that means that these are perpendicular. Okay, so those diagonals are perpendicular. So there's exactly one kind of quadrilateral that has diagonals that intersect at parallel lines, and those are rhombuses. So this is going to be B. Figure is a rhombus. Okay, number 7. Okay, determine whether the following is a rhombus, rectangle, square, or none. First of all, this is not a square, and it is not a rectangle. Well, if it's not a square, it can't be a rectangle either. A square is a rectangle. It's just that a square is a rectangle with equal sides. But this is not going to be a rectangle or a square. This is a rhombus. These have the same lengths to these. If you go up 3 over 4, go over 4, down 3, down 3, over 4, over 4, up 3. These are going to be the same lengths. Okay? So anyway, so this has to be a rhombus. Okay? Remember, if it's equal sides, your sides are equal, it's either going to be a rhombus or a square. If there's right angles, it's going to be a square. Okay, if it does, all the sides are equal. Okay, number 8. Okay, what is the equation of a circle in the figure shown? So this is the way you got to look at it. You already have this circle right here. We want to find the equation of it, and this is how you're going to do it. You have to determine your center, and then you have to determine what your radius is. Okay, your radius from here is the same up, down, left, and right. Okay, so how are we gonna find the radius? First of all, start at your top point up here, and then see how much do I need to do to get down here. Okay, so I'd be starting from right here, and then if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my diagonal, this whole thing right here, is 8. Half of that is your radius, which is 4. So to find this point, I can, from this top, I'll just go down 4. So bam, there's my center right there. Well, at what point is that going to be? Here I did this with a highlighter because it is kind of hard to tell. They did not make the line dark or anything like that for the axes, but that's where your axis is going to be. Your x-axis, your y-axis. So from here, I can see that this point is at -3, 2. So if that's -3, 2, my h is -3, my k is 2. My radius I already determined was 4. I'm going to square that because I'm going to need r squared in the equation. So r squared is 4 squared is 16. So anyway, from here, this is the equation of a circle in standard form. I'm just going to say x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. So I'm going to say x minus my h right here is -3. If you subtract the negative, you're going to get a plus. So if this is ever plus, that's because it was negative. So x minus -3 is just going to be plus 3 squared. And this is going to be plus y minus 2 squared is going to equal to 4 squared, which was 16, which I had done up there. So I'm just looking for which answer choice is this here. And this one is going to be answer choice B. Plus 3 squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals 16. Okay, number 9. We're almost done. What equation represents a circle with this center, -3, 8, and this radius? So from right here, you got everything that you need. Okay, you just have to follow this formula up here. The x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So I know I'm going to have x minus -3. Remember, minus negative gives you plus, so that's plus 3 squared plus y minus 8 squared. Okay, that's h and k. Equals your r squared. My r here is 12. 12 squared is 144, so I'm looking for plus 3 minus 8 and then equals 144. The only one with plus 3 minus 8 equals 144 is answer choice C. Okay, and number 10. A circle has an equation of x minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 5 quantity squared equals 36. Identify your center and your radius. So from here, I can tell that my h is going to be, it's kind of blurry there, my h is going to be +3, because that's what's being taken away from. What's being taken away from y? Well, that's plus, so that's going to be a -5. So from there, my center is going to be 3, -5, and my radius is going to be the square root of 36, because 36 is your radius squared. So I'm looking for a center of 3, -5, and a radius of 6, and that's going to be answer choice D. Okay, so those are both your reviews. The last thing I was going to go over is just formulas that you needed for this. So first of all, degrees to radians. You actually don't probably need this one for the test, but if you did, pi over 180, you're going to multiply by, if you want radians to degrees, you're going to multiply by 180 over pi. The sum of interior angles, the ones inside of any polygon, is just going to be the number of sides minus 2 times 180. That'll give you if you add up all the angles inside of a polygon, Okay, and if the question on the test is what is the sum of the interior angles, that's always 360, and if they want just one of them, just divide it by n. Okay, your circumference formulas. It's either going to be 2 pi r or pi d. Why does that make sense? Because your diameter is 2 times r. Okay, your area of, okay, and then your area of a circle, get this kind of out of order. Your area of a circle is pi r squared, and, okay. Now, if they just want arc length, I'm about to do this, so we would have flipped those two. Arc length is, remember you're saying m over 360 times c, and it's also s equals r times theta. I don't know why I didn't put that. S equals r times theta, but that was in one of those problems that we just went over. The area of a sector, you're just saying the measure of the angle they give you divided by 360 times the area of a circle, okay, which is pi r squared. Okay, remember we just did that with the circle in standard form: x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Just remember from that, your center is always going to be at the point h comma k, and your radius is r. Okay, so all right guys, so best of luck. Just go through this and you should do great. I will talk to y'all later.